In this video, I'm going to outline the process that is required in eLumen to get the data that's in there. And I'm going to first decide on my sandbox, and then I need to click on reports. I have a lot of choices. Obviously you can see I don't use them all. A couple of them that I do use are course level SLO, and then another one is the faculty participation report, which I'll show in a few minutes. I need to select a term and then generate a report. So that process isn't so bad at all. One needs at least course coordinator access. A level above that would be program coordinator, and then of course data steward, which is Uber access. And then this gets added to my document library, and this updates in real time. And I've already run a report, so I'm going to go ahead and pull that one, and this is how I can do that. And what I see is the data that's been put into eLumen by faculty members. There's NA, which means the student didn't turn in work, or it wasn't, they're absent that day or whatever. And then our different scores, I can see the 573 students total were assessed. However, these percentages do not actually reflect how many students say scored a 2, because there's the NA percentage. So when I put this into an Excel spreadsheet, for instance, which I have to do, I back out the 50 of the NA and I have to generate new percentages. And that's not so bad for one particular SLO for one course, but when I have to set up 20 of them for my math department, it's pretty time consuming. But that's what this report gives me. I mentioned other reports that I use, or another report is a faculty participation report. And it's what it sounds like. And it'll tell me how many, well, I'll just show you the report. All right, it has generated its report. It was, I don't know, maybe a minute for that to happen. Not a largely time-consuming thing. And what I see is a couple of things. One, there's not a lot of participation on the part of my faculty. But one of the difficulties here is if more than one SLO was assessed in a term, this does not indicate which SLO faculty submitted data for. For Calculus 5A, we were to assess SLOs 1 and 5 last semester. And so here, I know that I did SLOs 1 and 5, and that's my row here. 33 students were scored. I entered 55 scores. That must represent 2 SLOs, but in the case of a faculty member who does not submit data for 2 SLOs, for instance this one here, 28 out of 140 students or scores entered, I do not know which SLO was assessed. And it makes it difficult to keep track of just how many students are being reported for a particular SLO. But neither of those reports was the narrative prompt list that is called an action plan. So I'm going to click on the action plans tab, because that's where the action plans are. I need to, for some reason, select Pasadena, and then I think there's data in this one, fall 2014. Yeah, that'll be good. And I need to click on detail before it will show me anything. And then I want the completed action plans. And this is kind of not so bad in the sense that I can see the course, I can see the question or the prompt that's been responded to, and I can see what the response is. I can ask for a report, and it actually lets me group it by the expected action, which is the question that they are responding to. And that's kind of not so bad. But I have a lot of classes, and for me to get that data for the various classes, I have to go through this list one by one. And again, not so bad for one class, quite time consuming when I have a class list that's this long. The process for getting all of the data out and ready to be distributed to my faculty so that they can analyze it takes me several hours. And that's not really something that is sustainable in my view. As far as getting the action plans in here, the prompts for faculty to enter text, it's not too terribly bad. I just click on templates, I add a new one, and distribute it like I do the rubric essentially for the SLOs.